Hi students, this video is going to help you to learn how to manipulate the tree after you've produced your tree so that you can make a really high quality version of that tree that then can go on your posters. Okay, so we're going to start from you've ran a phylogeny analysis using ng phylogeny, right? So here I am on the ng phylogeny site. I put in my data. It did the alignment of the data. It did the the processing of the data. It tried to look for areas of alignment that maybe weren't very good. That's what this BMGE does. Then it did the phylogenetic analysis, which is this section of the data set. And you can come over here and click on the viewer and you can see your tree. And remember that from here you can do some things. You can display the support values, but notice on this tree it's so shallow, so maybe I want to spread that out a little bit. So now the branches are not showing branch lengths, but at least I can now see support values. So you can play around with things from here. But the one thing that you can't do from here is you can't then, like once you've played around a little bit, and remember you always need to reroute the taxa, so to reroute you come up here but once you've done this, there's no way to say, okay, export this tree, or at least I couldn't find out how to export this tree. So let me show you what you can do to play around with your tree. And I'm sorry, I thought that we could export from here, but we can't in a way that's really easy. I mean, you can do this one tree image up here, but that only exports it in the default view. It doesn't export after you've now made any changes, like rerouting. So what you can do is you can take the, download the file. So over here, you're on the PhyML Newick tree, download this file. Now this file, when you open it up, it's in a file format that you're not familiar with. It ends in a .nhx. But if I open this up in just a text editor, move this out of the way. If you open this up in a text editor, though, it simply is a parenthetical notation of the tree. Now it's kind of, and it has a bunch of numbers in here, which are the support values and the branch lengths, and these taxa names are pretty long, so it's kind of hard to understand what's going on. But at the end of the day, it's essentially a Venn diagram. So you remember when we did Venn diagrams, and it's like you put a circle around A and B, and that means A and B are in a group together, and they're connected together by a branch, a common ancestral node, right? A branching point. And then if you have C outside of A and B, then there's another branch that comes, right? And you could make that Venn diagram. Well, if you just erase the top off of a Venn diagram and the bottom off of a Venn diagram, you have parenthetical notation. And that's what a tree is written in. So this is the tree file. Now this tree file, though, can be opened up in another program that I want to show you guys. So this program that we're going to look for is called FigTree. So if you just Google FigTree, this will come up. There's top one you click on, FigTree by this author Andrew Rambut. And we're going to download this program here. So here's the icon for it, and here's kind of a screenshot of the kinds of things that it looks like. And to get to it, you come over here where it says availability from. You click on this, and then you download. If you're on a Mac, you get the DMG file. If you're on a Windows, you can get the zip file. So I'm going to get the DMG file because I'm on a Mac, and then I'm going to go ahead and install this. So now it's opening it up, right? You'll have to run through this, and you might need to do a couple things potentially. So it's now opened this up for me, and it asks me now to open this up, and now the program opens up. You may have to download Java if you don't have Java downloaded on your computer as well. So this is what the program looks like. It's a pretty cool little program here. So I'm going to open up that file that I downloaded. And it's the one that I downloaded in my download. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Open. And because this file is coming in with those extra numbers, right, those support value numbers, then I can, those are called bootstrap values. So I'm going to put, let's call it bootstrap. So I'm just telling the program that those extra numbers that it saw in the parenthetical notation are the bootstrap values. So I click OK. And so now it loads in the tree. All right. Now I can take this tree, and once again I can start to do things that for this tree if I want. For example, I can come to the appearance, and I can change how thick I want lines to be. Let me get this tree's so close together. I'm gonna make it come out just a little bit like that so you can see it more. But you can change like the line width. You can change, if I go to the tip labels, so that's at the end, the tip labels, I can change the font size right there as I want. You can color the fonts. You can color the branches. But the one thing, if I want to show those numbers, remember the numbers, the reason this is so kind of weird in the way that it's being drawn is because these names are so long. Probably should have changed those names. But you want to do the node labels. So if I click on node labels and then do the drop down button, and then I click on this, and there's that bootstrap one. So everything else has to do with other information that was part of the tree, like the branch lengths. Okay, but if I want to bring in those bootstrap values, then I click on the bootstrap, the one that I called bootstrap, and now that becomes the values on this tree. Actually don't love this tree. Let me open up a different tree just so you can see how this might look. So I'm gonna open up one of these, this practice tree here, Carnivora. So here's the kind of final product that you can get to. So notice we've got the tree, I've got the node labels. In this case, it's using another kind of support value here. But it's the same kind of thing. Like you can imagine that's 100%, that's 97%. But notice how you can put boxes around things. You can color branch lengths. You can change the font size. So you might load in this Carnivora data set first and just kind of, or this Carnivora tree, and just play around with things so that you can get used to this, because you can change the size of the numbers on the branch, on those branch values if you want. You can change their fonts. Again, on the tip labels, you can make it, well, I want those a little bit bigger, or I want whatever, okay? So you can sit and play around with the different things here. Notice here on the appearance, they've colored the branches by the rate. And you could color it by other kinds of things too, or you don't have to have it colored if you don't want to. There's a lot of different things you can do in this program. That's one of the reasons that I like it. You can change the ordering so that it kind of puts it in a descending or an increasing order. You can reroute the tree, and the easiest way actually to reroute the tree is when you just click on any branch. So let's say that this should have been routed to, instead of this Manus tetradactylae, let's say that it should have been routed to this Felis silvestre, the wild cat, right? You just click on it and you go reroute, and it reroutes it. Now notice some of the coloration got a little off there just because it was colored after the fact, but that's how easy it is to reroute. And you can even rotate nodes. Let's say like, oh, you know what, I'd prefer to have the red up at the top and the blue at the bottom and the purple at the bottom. So you can click on that and just go rotate. And so that rotated that blue to the bottom. And you're like, oh, but I want the red at the top. Okay, so rotate that and put the red at the top, right? And so you can sit and rotate nodes, and you can do anything that you want to do. You can even collapse nodes. Like if you're like, all right, all of this stuff is the same thing, I'm going to collapse it. And that collapsed it right down, and then you could give that a name if you wanted as well. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do in FigTree. And then once you're all done, you can go File, Export, and you can export all of these image files. So as like a PDF. So let's say I'm going to export this as a PDF. I'll just put it in my downloads for now. And then you can get your PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to just show a blank slide here. Obviously, this is not as big as you're going to be making. Yours are like 3 feet by 4 feet big, but here you get the idea. Oh, so I'm going to take this PowerPoint and I'm going to take that image file that I just created and just paste it in here, right? I just dragged it from my file structure there and put this picture in here. And then you can you can move this around and resize it, and it looks a lot better than like some screenshot that you would have done from the web browser over here in the NG thing, okay? Because I noticed some students were just looking here, and then they were taking like a screenshot of this and then putting that on their tree. This is a good little viewer to really quickly look at your tree, but I would highly suggest that you just export the file, download it, download this program called FigTree, and use FigTree to manipulate your trees and to do all the fancy stuff. Once you've got it looking exactly how you want it to look, export it, and then place it on your slide, wherever it's going to be. And the nice thing too is then you can add, if you need to add more text, like let's say that here you are on your slide and you're looking at this, then you can easily just add a text. Like remember we made that one group that was combined all together, right? So I could go combined, combined group, and then that could be right here. Or you can also start to add text, and you can turn your text too. And that could be like everything that's in the red is the turned text, and you can color that so that it's the same color as that red, right? And then it becomes the same. So there's tons of things that you can do after the fact, but it really helps when you have a really nice looking phylogenetic tree on your poster, and then you can do some slight post modification type stuff once you're in PowerPoint. But getting a really good looking tree into PowerPoint, I think it was one of the steps that we missed in class. I didn't realize that you couldn't get something out of NG phylogeny that looked good and that was manipulated how the way you want it to be. So sorry we didn't teach you this before, but that is my short little video on how to use FigTree. And if you want to meet with me again and we can go over this, or I can help you manipulate your trees, then I'm happy to do that. So let me know if you have any questions. See ya.